do you also know that
that is communication.
Now, being aware of differences in culture has given me a better understanding to issues and fewer misunderstandings to
In my field of work, I meet a lot of people, different in gender, varied in ages, likewise nationalities. This goes a long way explained by the Nguyen. And did you know that the process where two parties try to reach an agreement through
ideas are not sacrosanct in nature? Of course, let's take note that no manager
So our topic today is maximizing students' digital capabilities through project-based assessments. And I think over the summer we had quite a lot of discussions about the new assessment framework. And in September this year, all of us have received this invitation attending this workshop about the new assessment framework that our university is currently using. So within this key document, we have the assessment charter of University of Lincoln. So this is the quiz time.
I don't know
with
how many
answers
of you had a
reviewed.
chance to read the new assessment framework, and you know that thick documents they were all looking at and developing and basing our assessments on them. So some of the key points of the assessment framework include a design that's engaging, that engages students and develops their employability and so on, and relevant for future development, which is one of the key goals, especially in this module, since the postgraduate module. So we're trying to prepare students for work later on. Another key point is to make sure that we have transparency and fairness, so we treat all students the same way, that our feedback is also transparent, that the assessment is objective in terms of measuring the learning objectives that we have for that module, and that's fair enough, so all students are marked and evaluated with the same criteria. We also make sure that we have feedback that's constructive, so we have two assessments, one that's formative and the other one that's summative. So this assessment specifically was midway during the term, so it was a formative feedback, so we could monitor and understand how much students knew before their final assessment. Feedback, we also try to make sure it's timely, currently within 15 days of the assessments being turned in, and then specific, so addressing specific goals and objectives that should be aligned with the learning objectives for the module.
Absolutely. And I think within the assessment activity, it doesn't matter in which discipline, in which specialist subject area, and which assessment activity, the communication has to be made very, very clear to the students and to the academics. So being clear, being timely, and being effective, these are the three critical elements to make sure the students are able to understand their assessment tasks, to be able to produce quality work by the end of it. The partnership, especially, I think, within the assessment process, is not we're just assessing the students. It is actually a partnership from the very beginning, how we actually prepare the students and how students transform from with their previous background to more independent learners, and until the end they're able to produce the academic outputs from this activity. So this is from our understanding how we interpret the assessment charter from our university. Now I'll pass it on to Clarice.
Yes. So just so you have an idea of the assessment, what it was. So the module itself is called People in Global Organizations. So it already takes that perspective that we are within a very complex context, and organizations are within that context. So we want to introduce students and stimulate them to understand the complexity of the institutional and cultural environment where organizations are, and the people that are within the organizations. So they had to develop a group exhibition for week 7 or 8 in that term that needed to be filmed. So, which is why we're talking about the digital side of this. And they had to choose one of the themes that I covered during the term. And the options that we gave them were cross-cultural teamwork, the role of the expatriate manager, or the leader, the cross-cultural leadership. And they could choose how to deliver that. So even though it had to be digital, it could be posters that they took pictures of and then submitted through Turnitin. It could be a movie that included a role play, or it could be the way that they did, which is very innovative and creative as well, which is what they did. So the learning outcomes for the module as a whole is to understand the organizational processes, from the perspective of individuals and teams within the organizations, which are also within a specific national, cultural, institutional environment, to evaluate that context using some of the theoretical frameworks that we discussed in class and some of the practical examples that we discussed. The social influences also that impact not only individual but group behavior. Most of us are working within group environments within the organizational context. And also looking at strategies on how to manage those cross-cultural teams, how to be part of them, but also how to lead them. And they're looking specifically from a theoretical perspective and a practical one, looking at national culture in addition to institutional influences on the organization. So after they chose the topic, my suggestion was to choose something within that topic to look at. So, even if it's cross-cultural teamwork, are you looking at negotiations, dealing with conflicts, or something more specific related to your research question? And then looking at doing their own research in addition to what they got in terms of a reading list and so on in the module, but then also creating additional sources that were relevant to what they were studying. So that's the combination really that we look for, because whatever they're creating, even if it's a digital-based assessment, they still need to use theoretical framework to inform the application of those theories in the case study that they choose, whether they're using a company that exists or doesn't exist. So if it's cross-cultural negotiations, for example, what are the key theoretical frameworks to examine them? What are some of the key issues in cross-cultural teamwork that usually tend to appear and emerge from cross-cultural teams working together, and what does the literature say about that, and what research has been done relating to that theme. So I wanted them to use academic literature, including peer-reviewed journals and so on, but also using a variety of even popular media sources, as long as they use academic literature as well. But also making sure they applied that theoretical framework with the academic sources and information that's relevant to current businesses. So something that, especially to help them move on when they do go into managerial positions and so on, to see how does that theory relate to practice. What can we find out? What can we learn from that theory and research into the business reality, especially in a global arena where we function nowadays?
Right, okay, so I'm going to take over on the student digital experience, because when Clarice invited me to be the guest lecturer coming to cover this workshop to introduce this kind of digital assessment activity to the students, I was quite impressed, as in this assessment activity really brings academic context and the digital capabilities together. So in order to frame our practice, aligning it to the current practice, this is what we're referring to. So JISC in 2018 has published the latest the Students' Digital Experience Report. So they have conducted a survey across 83 higher education and further education colleges, and they interviewed, I think, 37,000 participants within this survey. And there are 4 themes emerging from this report. So what we're going to highlight in our presentation is the digital at the course level and the students' attitudes to digital. And I will present you with some key factors from this report that you can access. This QR code, if you point your camera onto that, you will be able to go directly to that website to download the report. It's publicly available. So, the digital exhibition strategy, this is something that through our discussion, we would like to adopt. So, with 2 very clear purposes: increase exposure. Why do we want to expose students' work? Because it's to engage with wider community, isn't it? And then to make their academic output more meaningful than just presenting an academic essay.
So, just a second. So normally I'll have them present a PowerPoint exhibit in a classroom. I'll be probably the only one watching it, or perhaps the second marker. So our idea, how can we make whatever they create more accessible and also increase that conversation between them and the wider community? business and academic and so on.
Yeah, so that comes along with the increased access. If the exposure is there, then access will be much more frequent than someone's asking, oh, can you show me what you have written, and then let me see what you have produced. So with very clear objectives also in mind is we need to develop students in this kind of learning journey in the special subject specialist area. But at the same time, we need to look after them in terms of the emotional experience throughout the whole journey. How do they actually start the project till how they finish it? And how do they actually manage this kind of different combination of, oh, I can do it, oh, probably I don't know how to do it. And then coming back to the transformation as in, I think I can do it. The behavioral, clearly, because this is a group project, so students, like the 4 students we've got here, they have to work together as a group. So each individual's needs will have to be addressed. At the same time, their group needs has to be addressed. And putting on the 3 first layers of these objectives, we also added a digital layer, which is what exactly they can achieve by the end of this digital journey. Can they actually improve their digital capabilities and increase their digital capacities? So, splitting the digital exhibition strategy, now we're looking at just the exhibition strategy side, and we draw from something that's quite different from the discipline that you've taught the students. It is from the museum, you know, the proper exhibition side of it. So from Kalfa Tovik, this book in 2002, he actually identified 5 types of exhibition effects to be considered when designing an exhibit. So aesthetically, is this topic interesting enough? And is it attractive enough to engage with the audience? Is it pleasant to actually engage? Emotive. Will the students, will the audience watching this digital exhibition have that kind of emotive connections and the links made achieved by the students? Evocative. Can this topic induce some sort of more interesting topics and making the discussion more interesting and more critical? Didactic. Are they able to teach the audience something? Are they able to impart that kind of knowledge to the wider community? And finally, entertaining. Is it pleasant to watch? Isn't it? Okay. So from the exhibition strategy to the digital strategy, and then this is from JISC, the report, some key facts. As you can see, we've highlighted some key percentages. So 74% of higher education students rated the quality of digital teaching and learning on their courses as above the average. So it's very positive. What about the rest? Big question mark. 69% of higher education students thought digital skills would be important for their chosen career. And again, what the other side of obviously the percentage tells us. Moving on to the 67% of the higher education students agree that digital approaches help them to fit learning into their life. Can we build on this and then still extend this kind of digital engagement? Over a third of all students wanted digital technologies to be used more on their course than they were currently used. So can we actually achieve higher percentage on that? 56% of higher education students likes a mixture of group and individual work, which Clarice has implemented within this assessment activities. So of all this, we kind of align our practice and trying to address these educational needs. And then give the students space to develop their innovative ideas, the innovative style of presenting information. To summarize, the workshop that I have designed and supported the students literally is just 3 stages. And that's what I've given you as a group, wasn't it? There were some discussions within that session. So make it really simple, less is more. And we do not want students to see this as a daunting task, because even though they can be seen as the digital generation, we still want them to be feeling confident about this approach that we introduce to them. So pre-production, production, and post-production. This morning at 11 o'clock, the very first workshop, they've engaged with quite a few audience on the 3 stages that you have come through, right? So I don't know whether that was recorded, but they are planning to write a blog piece later on, so that can be, again, distributed within our community. So the pre-production, all of these elements will have to be considered. so that the whole production part of it will have to go smooth. And they are very capable in many aspects digitally, I have to admit, because I remember when I was in the workshop, I asked them questions, they were able to give me answers, they were able to ask further questions, and there was quite a few rounds of discussion. I was thinking, wow, this is impressive. But at the same time, I also feel that they have some areas that they feel that you need to have some further development, isn't it? And do you want to say something about this? The production?
Lighting issues. Do you think that once we didn't have expertise with the lighting, shooting outside and having the sun was the best?
Brilliant. That's a good tip, good takeaway.
They tipped around Lincoln and showed the beautiful city to us.
Yes.
What I thought, my concern during that time was that they didn't focus too much on the video production, because I still wanted them to pay attention to the content and to be aware. We're still having classes right there while they have to prepare that. And I'm like, okay, focus. You have to remember the academic sources, and you have to show the understanding and the knowledge, etc. But then there's a whole other process going on, which I'm so thankful they will embrace that challenge.
And this is not a single journey, this is a multilateral journey. So moving on from the production to the post-production, they've done a wonderful job accessing some really nice, free, online accessible technology, but at the same time explored a little bit further on the semi-professional and professional technologies, haven't you? So all of that demonstrated that this group of students have developed that kind of self-efficacy within this project. So what do our students say? If any of you have attended this morning's workshop, you would have heard them very clearly. That's their presentation topic this morning. What I would like to show, I just want to mention, all of them are our digital students ambassadors. So we can engage further on this. What our external examiners say, so Clarice, do you want to?
This was, because as you know, every piece of assessment has to be sent to an external examiner. So, and this is the feedback that I just got this week from the external examiner's feedback. That the assessment itself was measuring the learning outcomes that were intended and that the marks overall were aligned, etc. But what I thought was really interesting that they said the professionalism of Group A really stood out. You're Group A.
Yes.
So I just got it this week. I wanted to share with you, so we're sharing now.
Absolutely.
And the effectiveness of the assessment in evaluating student engagement with the module. So, and for me, as the one who designs the module and the assessment, and with the partnership that Chang, offered, and I so thankfully.
It's a very enjoyable partnership, for me as well.
And their willingness to do the assignment and to go above and beyond what was expected of them. And then having the external examiner confirm that was, it's really, for me at least, it's a great outcome.
Yeah.
Really inspiring too.
So, revisiting JISC digital capabilities, I think all our students deserve the gold medal. To engage further, have a follow-up. This is the URL, so it's really easy to remember, tinyurl.com/Digied exhibition. And you can scan the QR code and they smile.
And then we can show the video. If anybody wants to see their project later on, they can see the video.
So thank you both. Sorry, just for a little bit behind schedule, but time for a quick question if anyone has any burning questions that they would like to ask.